드럼 패드에서는 손이 잘 돌아가는데 꼭 드럼 세트에만 앉으면 손이 잘 안 돌아가는 것 같은 느낌을 받으신 적이 있으신가요? 제가 그런 분들을 위해서 오늘 영상 하나를 준비했습니다. 오늘 영상의 주인공은 베니 그랩인데요. 제가 정말 좋아하는 드러머들 중 한 명입니다. 이 영상을 보시고 여러분들이 해답을 얻어 가셨으면 좋겠습니다. 영상 중간중간에 이해가지 않는 부분이 있더라도 제가 보충 설명을 드릴 테니 걱정 마시고 끝까지 시청해 주시기 바랍니다.
Oh, hi there. Didn't see you there. Hi, I'm Benny Greb. I'm here at PASIC, and Vic Firth asked me to do something for pad stuff, warm-up stuff, and something immediately came to mind, and it's this. I want to share with you today something that I see all the time, I find very important, and I will tell you right away, it's not an exercise or two exercises, it's something better. It's something that will make you sound better with any exercise or anything that you will then do on the snare drum. Does that sound good? I think so. So here we go. I found out for myself in terms of productivity and life-changing things, that's a mouthful, but it's true. Have you ever heard of like to-do lists, right? Like things you have to do, and I found out, and the tip I got from Tim Ferriss, I think fantastic, that it's sometimes very effective to have not to-do lists. So you write out things that you should not do, and that automatically makes everything else work better. In normal life, professional and private life, for me, that is, if I just mark like two hours where I don't go online and I don't do this and I don't get distracted and I don't get up from the desk, like I get stuff done that I want to get done without writing it on a to-do list. I found out the same thing for pad for me and my students. So what is that? Number one, I'm sure you don't want to become a great pad player, right? You want to become, you want to train your technique. You want to sound better. You want to have a way to practice a little bit more quiet. Sometimes we even hear things a little bit more accurate on a pad. So I'm a fan of like pad practice. What I'm not a fan of is to then not like have in mind like what you do this for in the end, okay? So what I mean by this is this. Number one, most of us, when we practice on a pad, we practice too loud. We practice with less dynamic, and we practice on a level that will make us sound like a stupid caveman on a snare drum, okay? So I sometimes see people do this. They do the paradiddles like that. It's good for warming up. When you do that on a snare drum, it sounds absolutely horrible. The stuff that you need on a snare drum, all the little rolls, the stuff in between, the technical stuff that I think most of us really want to practice, is stuff like this. That's already, that's the smack that's on the snare drum already pretty loud. So try to have that in mind, and to find this out, you don't have to believe me, try it out. Put a snare drum next to your pad, just to try it out. And practice whatever you practice, and then go to the snare, you will be surprised. It's just like, wow, it's just like way too much. And again, when we want to have control, we want to have nice dynamic and a lot of beautiful things, very accessible, it's usually in the lower dynamic range. And it gives you a more clearer pronunciation on your instrument. Like not only the snare, but even cymbals and toms and stuff like that. So that's point one. Point number two, also about dynamics. Very often when I do like call and response things with students or at my drum camps, it's really a lot about what the rudimental guys call accent tap, or what David Garibaldi calls the two-level playing concept. You can have different words for this, but accented notes, non-accented notes. This is kind of, I think, the second level of getting to know your vocabulary on a snare drum or the drum set. So what I mean by this is this. You might have some single strokes, right? Right, left, right, left, right, left, hand to hand, very simple. And by just changing the dynamics of this or that stroke, you can already really make some phrases. Stuff like, right? Let's say I say, you know what? You hit the pad with the tip of the stick in the middle, and you get sensitive for the sound it makes. Where you just hear the rubber, like the wood hit the rubber a little bit. Then you have this higher level where you almost feel like, okay, the wood is already a little bit involved there. And then you have like proper accents. That's the sounds you want to use. I will first play it how I think you should practice it. This is what we most often do. What's the difference there? The difference is this, that we're not actually doing the dynamic difference anymore, because that's a technical thing to do, right? In motion. This. That's a difference in motion that you have to train. You have your body to say like, okay, no, I really want this. And even if it comes in a place that I'm not comfortable with, I never done before, the body is then like, hey, we never done that before. And that's what practicing is, right? You get used to like, oh no, I want it there. Yes, this is what I hear in my head. Please, body, do it. This is great when you practice this. You cheat yourself when you don't do the difference in the motion, but in angle. And this is what the rim shot is. So you don't do any more non-accent, accent, but you do non-accent. Check the difference in the wrist, which is almost non-existent, and if you have to do that with just the tip of the stick, right? And what that does, again, it will make it kind of work on a pad. You'll go like, and it's easier to do, right? But all of a sudden, you then lose that dynamic on the toms, on the cymbals, and everywhere. So you basically, cheated yourself, and you think you practiced something that you then cannot use on the drum kit. And for me, that's one of the most frustrating things when practicing, because practicing is hard enough already. Hopefully, we're doing something, and then we can use all of what we were doing here on the pad, on the kit. Thank you for spending this time with me here. Try this stuff out. It really makes everything you play sound better. I think this is the stuff that gives you, I think the best picture I can use for it, gives you a clear pronunciation on your instrument. Like, what are loud notes, what are soft notes, what are the important notes? That's where music comes from. Remember, music is not noise. Music is organized noise. And you organize it in phrases and in nice things by also dynamic and by time and all stuff like that. Anyway, I really have to go. Thank you so much. Try it out, and I hope to see you very soon.